I'm Brendan,
And I'm Lauren.
and we're engagement partners here at Immigration New Zealand. We'll be using this platform to get into the details of certain immigration topics so that we can help to ensure a smooth process for employers who are hiring or considering hiring migrant workers. Today, we're going to be focusing on something vital if you're looking at a job check application here in New Zealand, which is getting the ANSCO code right. ANSCO stands for the Australian and New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations. That's a mouthful. So we're just going to abbreviate that to ANSCO.
Exactly. Nailing the right code is so important because ANSCO determines skill levels for that job, and that determines requirements such as how long you may need to advertise for. So getting that ANSCO code right should really be the first thing that employers do.
Yeah, so where do we begin, Lauren?
So it's definitely the job duties, Brendan. It's about those actual tasks that you're performing. What will the person be doing day to day? What's in their job description? It's not just the job title that someone is given.
Yeah, 100%. So titles can be kind of broad, can't they? We could have manager in our title, but if someone's spending, most of their time on the tools, hands-on, maybe that role is more like a supervisor.
Exactly that scenario. So what's important here is that an immigration officer is looking for the best substantial match between your job description and ANSCO.
A substantial match is very important. One common example is the difference between retail manager versus retail supervisor.
So what's the difference in duties there? So a true retail manager, they're probably setting budgets, managing staff across multiple departments, making those big operational calls.
Absolutely. Whereas a retail supervisor, they're still very important, but maybe they're focused on one team, one area, reporting upwards on how things are running within a store.
Yeah, so it can be a really similar field, so maybe similar sounding titles, but the scope of the responsibility, Brenda, is actually really different. So they're really different roles when you look at the duties.
So given that, Lauren, how do we actually figure out which ANSCO code fits best? If the job title isn't the main guide, well, thankfully, there are tools.
There are. So the first thing that you can do is go to the Immigration New Zealand website link that will be shown on your screen now. And on that page, there's much more detail about ANSCO. And there's also, really importantly, a link to the Statistics New Zealand ARIA tool to help you as an employer search for those ANSCO codes.
I imagine there'll be some roles where there's just a perfect fit with ANSCO. But what happens if the role just doesn't quite match?
Yeah, so you can use your judgment to select an ANSCO that you feel really fits the nuance of that role. And there will be a lot of roles that don't fit really neatly, Brendan, into one category. And we really do acknowledge that. You would just provide more description of that role, how you believe the role fits into the ANSCO code, and then the immigration officer will look at that as part of the assessment.
Excellent. And one more important thing to note is that ANSCO numbers are linked to skill levels. So ANSCO classifies jobs into 5 different skill levels.
Yeah, so ANSCO level 1 is generally used for the most highly skilled roles, meaning degrees or significant experience are required. And this goes all the way down to ANSCO skill level 5. So this is roles typically requiring a lot less formal training.
And just as a heads up, ANSCO will soon be replaced by the National Occupation List or the NOL, but we will be continuing using ANSCO for now as we're transitioning to the new system. Thanks very much to everyone for listening. We hope that this has been useful for you, and stay tuned for more clips like these to help you with your immigration journey. Mā te wā.
Te wā.